All right then. Testing, testing, testing. I'm all right here. Testing. Is everything all right over there?
Yep.
All right, we're cool. Well then, ahoy there, mateys. Welcome to another Shadow Council episode. Yo ho ho, Pirates Life for me. If you kind of get what I'm trying to say, or if you saw the title, you kind of guess what we're gonna do today. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the Shadow Council, more precisely episode 22. And I still cannot fucking believe we're on 22. Oh my god, like we went really far with this one. Anyway, this time we're gonna discuss about one of the franchises that, for me personally, was always part of my childhood, and I always loved it. Even though the first one was always a hit, the other ones are always kind of being controversial with the viewers and everything. But anyway, we are here to discuss. That's what the Shadow Council is for. We are going to discuss here today the fate of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. We're going to go all over the place. And as always, I'm your host, Lord of Shadows. So all followers of darkness, shadow scavengers, and villain aficionados, welcome, welcome. With, of course, I'm here today with my charming associate and Shadow Council members.
Arg, I'm TK. Now, do I have to talk like this all blog? Arg, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me. Arr, me fee, we can talk like that all the time, but I think like our throats will get to the Davy Jones locker by the time we finish.
Yes, that really hard on my throat. Arg.
Arr, that is true. That is true. Arr. So, without further interruptions, let we start, says I.
Anyway, so yeah, Pirates. Oh man, one of the things I love the Shadow Council is that we can talk shit and craziness all the time. Oh my god, I love this shit. Yeah, literally a pirate's life for me in this case. Oh god. Anyway, let's start with this, shall we? So basically, the first topic is going to be about the movies in general. Now, my question to you, TK, aka Lucky Bastard, I want to ask you, what was your very first introduction to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise? Like, more precisely, which movie was your overall introduction?
Well, as true to form, I actually saw the first one after I saw the second and third one.
So you literally started chronologically with the first one.
No, I started with the second one, and then I saw the third one. And then I think I watched the third one, and then I think I watched the fourth one, and then I went back and watched the first one then.
So let me get this straight. You started with Dead Man's Chest, then at World's End, and then on Stranger Tides, and then you went to the Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, what a way to start. I mean, pretty strange, especially the way how Dead Man's Chest ended. I can bet you literally had some questions, especially the way how you ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead Man's Chest. I remember, I forget the year it was, but it was summer. It was the summer it came out. And my cousin and my uncle and I went to it in the theater. And I remember, I think it was the first movie I saw, or at least that I can remember, that did the whole cliffhanger thing.
Yep.
And I remember I was never crazy about that, but I loved the movie. I actually liked it better. So the first time I watched it, there was a lot in it, a lot of jokes it references, and a lot of stuff from the first movie that kind of I missed. So going back and watching it later, after I saw the first movie, or after I watched the first movie, it was good. It was much better for me the second time. But overall, that movie is really good. I really enjoy it. I mean, Johnny Depp is Captain Jack. He's hilarious.
Oh, I mean, come on! He is the ultimate wheel that guides the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. That's for sure. But now, for me personally, when it comes to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I'll be honest here with you. I have literally started chronologically. I literally was introduced to the Pirates of the Caribbean through the Curse of the Black Pearl. Then I went to Dead Man's Chest. Then I went to At World's End. Then on Stranger Tides, and now Dead Men Tell No Tales. Or in some countries, Salazar's Revenge. We just kind of on the nose, but still. So I literally watched those movies chronologically. And again, when I saw the first one, I was like, wow, because as a guy, like, as a guy who loves history, one of the parts of history I always loved were literally pirates.
Mhm.
So, and of course there were other like stories that kind of made me fall in love with pirates in general. I mean, one of them, of course, being Treasure Island, like 100%. But when I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, like I literally fell in love with with the movie. I love the characters. I love, Hector Barbosa as the villain. He was fantastic. Jeffrey Rush fucking nailed that role. So like, all the sword fights, the sea battles, the curse of like, the Aztec gold, seeing all those skeletons, like, oh my God, like, my father at first, when we watched that, felt like I was going to be a little bit scared, especially the skeleton parts. But I wasn't scared at all. I was like, literally, bring it on. Like, I was literally in love with, like, especially those scenes on the Black Pearl, when Elizabeth Swann first saw the skeletons, and especially that scene with Barbosa when he's like, you better start believing ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. And then you hear, like, you see him as a skeleton and everything. Oh my God, that was amazing. So overall, at first, I was like, I felt like, okay, it's one movie, whatever, I would cherish it all my life and everything. And then I heard they're gonna make sequels, and I saw the trailer on the Italian channels on TV. I saw the trailer for Dead Man's Chest, and I was like, hell yeah! Like, literally, I felt like fucking Kite Man in his TV show. Hell yeah! Like, I was so excited, and of course, that movie will always be very close to my heart because I was introduced to Davy Jones, and of course, Davy Jones literally not only became one of my favorite villain in the franchise, but also one of my favorite villains of all time in general, And I have to admit, what?
It's funny you mentioned Davy Jones. I agree. I think he is he was the perfect villain. The one criticism I have with them was the whole Englishmen in the third movie, like the whole like government people, them being the villains.
Yeah,
that kind of, I didn't mind
Cutler Beckett.
It added humor, but I felt that it made things a little more confusing. I wish they had done that a little better, but Davy Jones, I think he is fantastic as a villain. He is, and I think a lot of animated shows and movies take inspiration from him, like have taken inspiration from him in terms of their designs and characters. So he's really just iconic.
Would you? Okay, I know you're not quite familiar with the franchise, but would you agree? Because I always saw Davy Jones as the Darth Vader of the franchise.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because like the overall origin and the character and everything, like, I always kind of like, always kind of connecting with Darth Vader because they're a little bit similar. But also, I just want to say, the guy who played Bill Nighy, like, first and foremost, Bill Nighy is such an underrated British actor. Like, he is absolutely amazing, and the work he did on Davy Jones was just simply mesmerizing. Like from the way how he sounded like him. From like the dialogue, the movements, like even though he was wearing gray pajamas the whole time, like he was still, for me personally, mesmerizing. Now, I do agree on you about that one. Like Cutler Beckett and I think it was like West Indies Company, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I do agree. Even in Dead Man's Chest, he was like the least character I didn't give a shit. Like I was like, okay. I kind of get the story, like, what they were trying to do, especially in World's End with him, why he wanted the chest, why he wanted to control Davy Jones and all that. I get it. But honestly, I would have been much more happier, and I think you will agree with me. I think I would be much more happier if, like, at World's End was literally like a round 2 against the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Basically, you could have done the same thing, with the Maelstrom, Calypso, and all of that shenanigans. You could have done the same thing without Cutler Beckett and his group, But again, it's hard for me to kind of criticize him because the actor who plays Cutler Beckett, I like him. I liked him in like other projects. So, it's kind of like difficult for me to kind of like criticize him, because even though his performance in the movie, was kind of like very typical British soldier / politician a little bit.
Mhm.
But even for what it was, I enjoyed. Although I will say the happiest thing in that movie for me was literally when he blew up.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you, like, okay, so let's just say this: if the Pirates of the Caribbean literally finished with at World's End, would you be okay? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I would have been okay with that. You know, I liked At World's End. I think it really satisfied. It was really a good ending. What I really liked in that movie, I really liked that scene when they're like that final battle where
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Elizabeth are helping Will stab the chest.
Yep.
I really liked that. I thought that was a really good scene. I thought it really was a powerful scene. It really like showed a lot of character growth. Now I will say then the other two movies kind of made Jack regress Jack a little bit and made him more like he was in the second movie and made him more like buffoonish again. So,
I think he was always buffoonish.
But I think that the third movie would have been fine as an ending. What do you think?
I mean, here's the thing. Now we can both agree that, especially with the whole fountain of youth that the Barbossa mentioned at World's End, especially at the very end, you cannot, and especially the way how Jack was like, turning the map and everything. By the way, when he opened the map and the middle was like missing,
yes,
that was hilarious. Like I was literally, I was like, thinking like Jack Sparrow basically saying with that map, okay, Barbossa, you stole my ship, I stole the map, now we're even. Like I love that. Like basically that shows that he never trusted Barbossa, even though he took his ship. But when we're watching the map and you see like, especially, that sound when it's something like dangerous or like a story is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like, spooky, mystical sound. So when it came to Aqua de Vida, basically on the map, I was like, okay, I kind of already see that what the next story is going to be all about. But even if they didn't continue, I was like, I would have been satisfied. Even though personally I was kind of sad that he didn't control the Black Pearl, again, and Barbossa taking it and everything again. That was kind of like sad for me. But overall, I would have been satisfied. But still, I'm a guy, when it comes to Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm more of a quantity guy. So when they added on Stranger Tides, I had no problem with that, because like I said, even though I would admit it would have been a satisfying ending to the trilogy. With you have to admit the Fountain of Youth thing, I think that would have been like a cliffhanger in a way, because you kind of had the idea of like where it's going, where it could go, basically. But overall, yeah, I do agree with you. I would have been satisfied, but I'm still happy that we got on Stranger Tides as well. But I want to ask you,
trilogy it was a really good linear trilogy. It was really good with like the story overall. So I mean, yeah, it would have. I mean, I would have been good either way. But like you said, I mean, I'm glad they did continue it because I could watch Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow like every day, all day, because he's hilarious. I mean, he's just that's a role I think that unfortunately for him, that's going to define him. I think like for years to come.
Definitely. I mean, it's still defying him even today. I mean, like, okay, I said I don't want to get into the politics, but like, remember when like Johnny Depp won the case?
Yeah.
Literally, when he came out, people were literally releasing the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song. I'm not kidding you. There were some tapes. There were some like videos where when basically he came out of court. Even though when they announced the judgment, he wasn't actually there. But there were times when, like, he came out of court and you hear in the background, vaguely, but you can hear it, like the Pirates of the Caribbean theme. And, which kind of, again, proves that he's still defined by that role even today. Yeah. So, but I want to ask you. So basically, the trilogy, the way how you're saying, the trilogy, you like all three movies.
Yes.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, what did you thought of on Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Okay, Stranger Tides. So
Blackbeard.
one, I like that one. I kind of like it being a standalone movie. I liked what's her name, Penelope Cruz.
Yeah,
I thought
Angelica.
she was good as Jack's kind of like equal. So I like that.
I always thought of her as kind of like his Catwoman.
Yeah. I liked Blackbeard.
I mean, you can never go wrong with Ian
It
McShane.
was good. I also kind of like the dynamic between Jack and Barbosa.
That scene where they were trying to get the chalices was great.
Yes. Now the what was the other one? Dead
Men Tell No Tales.
I like that one. I thought it was. I mean, I can see where they were going, introducing those two younger characters, because I think my guess is that they were hoping, or they're still hoping, that they would get a spinoff, or they would continue it somehow. I don't know, but
I think that they were trying to continue.
But I like those two new characters. I think that they maybe should have brought Penelope Cruz back. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they introduced a love interest for Jack and then completely ignored her in the following movie. I don't know, that just kind of seemed wasted to me. But aside from that, I really like them. I mean, the one thing I would say about all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies is they're all entertaining. I think they're all very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if not, I mean, I think that a lot of them are, and I mean, the most recent two, I think there's a cheesy element to them, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I just want to say, I mean, I told you that. I think I mentioned that to you before. I don't remember, but like, I hate the word cheesy. You know, and I'm not talking about the cheese thing. I mean, like, you know, the way how people are using it, like you know, like, oh, it's so cheesy, so corny, la 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 la, and I'm like, why can people just enjoy the movies for what they are? Like, why everyone needs to make them like again, like on the level of Titanic or Avatar or Goodfellas or Godfather or Oppenheimer? Like, why they need to be on that level? Why can't we just simply have fun movies? Because literally, that's one of my biggest grunts, let's just say, that I had with people about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I'm really happy that today people appreciate them more. But literally everyone was like at the beginning, especially during Dead Men Tell No Tales, everyone was like, you know, at first, like when the Curse of the Black Pearl was announced, they were like, you know, wait, it's a movie based on a Disneyland ride. You know, they thought like, you know, everyone thought like at first like, oh, that sounds stupid. And for a lot of people, the movie was awesome. And literally after that, literally everyone was like, everything after that has been shit. And I'm like, why they find those movies terrible? Literally, like, you know, I love the story, the mythology around it, the characters, the villains, you know, like, I really don't understand. I mean, I get like on Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales, I get it. For some people, it's an acquired taste. I get it. But Dead Man's Chest and World's End, those movies, for me personally, I'm sorry to say this, but they were almost flawless to me, you know. And I love them for what they are. I love the story. I love the emotional moments, the twists and turns, you know, even though I'm a fan of all 5 of them. But again, I really don't know this. I'm gonna say disgust. I would say like hatred or negativity they have for these movies. I've never truly understood. I mean, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. It kind of reminds me of the hatred people had for the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
I never understood that either. I don't know. Maybe it's something with Jerry Bruckheimer. I don't know.
I know. I mean, like, you know, I never had any dislikes of Jerry Bruckheimer. You know, I mean, I know he did the CSI as well as a producer, but again, I really had no problem with those movies. You know, I really never understood the negativity around it.
You know, I don't get it. I mean, I think they're good movies. I mean, they're funny. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I just don't. I agree with you. And the other thing too is, I just thought of this. I think the visual effects in those movies is also fairly well done.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're gonna take an example to the fucking crew of the Flying Dutchman or the crew of
Yeah.
the Silent Mary with Salazar. Like those effects were amazing. I mean, Davy Jones himself, the CGI on him was absolutely amazing for that time. You know, I mean, I've seen some people come talking about like, you know, the CGI on here was shit, and I was like, do you need glasses? Like, because I was like, it's almost impeccable. It's literally I was like, at times I was like, you're literally looking to an actual fishman. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought the CGI was perfect. Now, if you want to do something really fun, and watch either Dead Man's Chest or what was it? What was the title of the third? Oh, At World's End. Watch either one of those two. Watch Bill Nighy as Davy Jones in that, and then go watch About Time and watch Bill Nighy in that.
Yep.
It's like day and night.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. You know, even though like About Time, I mean, even though like Bill Nighy in any role he was in, I always thought of him, he was great. You know, he's a very underrated actor. I mean, I do agree on that. But one of the things I love about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies is because the overall mythology around it. Like, I mean, first and foremost, they use a lot of different sea legends, you know, for the movie. Like, for example, you know, the Aztec gold, which I do remember there's actually like an ancient legend about a hidden Aztec gold treasure. Like, you know, I mean, of course, it's not Isla de Muerta like in the first movie, but like I know there was like a legend about that. Although I'm not sure it was like a stone chest. I think it was like a normal chest. But you know, they used the legend of the Flying Dutchman, Davy Jones' locker, you know, like the Fountain of Youth, Ponce de Leon. Like they use so many myths and legends from real life that sailors have been telling for like hundreds of years in these movies, and the way how those mythologies were executed, for me at least, was done in a really really good way. You know, I mean, that's one of the things that kind of really dragged me into these movies. You know, the overall curses and ghosts and monsters. The Kraken. You know, I mean, even though a lot of people have problem with him being killed at World's End, but if you follow the story, you kind of get the idea why. But again, the Kraken in Dead Man's Chest, holy shit, there were times when I was like, I got goosebumps when I saw the Kraken. I mean, for example, when he was attacking the ship on Orlando, where Will Turner was, I mean, that was terrifying. I mean, like, so the overall mythology and how they use. I mean, what did you thought of it?
I liked it. I think I'm trying to think. I think Davy Jones was the best one they used. I liked him a lot. I'm trying to think. I think Davy Jones was the best one. Although I do really like the whole Fountain of Youth thing in the fourth one. I thought that was a cool concept. I'm kind of glad they made it more of a self-contained story.
Yeah.
And less like another like trilogy or like spread it out or anything. I think they could have done that. I think they could have spread it out, but I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I don't know, I just found it more interesting, and I just got into it more knowing it was like a one-off. So I kind of like that. But I think Davy Jones was really the best. I liked his character. I kind of liked how too his character was in the third movie. He was a little more sympathetic at times.
I mean, I wouldn't say sympathetic. I would say you kind of feel pity for him.
Yes.
In a way, you know, because even still, like, you know, the guy is still like, you know, pure evil, but after everything that he has been through and all that, so I would say, I mean, you kind of feel sorry for him, but I think like the right word I think I would use is that you would kind of feel pity for him.
Yes.
You know, and also it was really great to see Bill Nighy outside the CGI.
Yeah.
You know, that prison scene in the ship.
Well, remember the scene where there are like 1,000 jacks?
Oh yeah! Oh my God! I think like I wonder if like Johnny Depp had like a raise doing that.
Well, that the only person who could make that work for that character was Johnny Depp. I mean, he's the only person that could play that character that way and actually sell that and make that hilarious.
I want to ask you this: if you can take one favorite scene from each of the 5 movies, which one would it be? So let me make it more detailed. So one scene from Curse of the Black Pearl, one from Dead Man's Chest, one from At World's End, one from On Stranger Tides, and then one from Dead Man Tell No Tales. So
okay,
which favorite scenes would you take from those movies? Like Dead
Man Tells No Tales would be whenever Barbossa sacrificed himself at the end. Okay. That was cool. On Stranger Tides, that's a good question. On Stranger Tides, I'd say, yeah, just think about that one. I know at World's End, I'd say it's either a tie between 1,000 Jacks or whenever whenever Elizabeth and Jack help Will stab the heart.
Okay.
Dead Man's Chest. I think it was when Jack pushed Will off the ship.
You mean that when he was like, and like with the breath and everything?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And Curse of the Black Pearl?
Curse of the Black Pearl. I need to think about that one. I don't remember that.
Wait a minute. The breath thing, that happening at World's End, not in Dead Man's Chest.
But Dead Man's Chest, though, wasn't there a part when, like, because whenever Will fell off the ship and then the Flying Dutchman picked him up?
Oh, you mean after the Kraken attack?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Then Curse of the Black Pearl?
Curse of the Black Pearl, I think, with the skeleton, whenever like the crew was like skeletons, like closer to the end or like at the climax.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to think. I forgot Stranger Tides.
So which favorite scene would you take from that movie?
I think when Jack and what was Penelope Cruz's character's name?
Scrub.
Yeah, when she and Jack were fighting, like whenever they hooked up again and they were fighting it closer, like the beginning. I kind of
Angelica. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. If I have to choose, I would say this: Curse of the Black Pearl. Out of all the scenes, I would say my favorite one is literally the whole Elizabeth Swann Barbossa skeletons. The very first time they were all revealed. I mean, like the soundtrack and the way how she was like, going up and down the entire Black Pearl ship. And then later on, how Barbossa from the shadows became a skeleton. That scene is remarkable. And for me, my favorite one in the movie. Dead Man's Chest, out of all, I mean, there's a few Dead Man's Chest scenes I thought that were my favorites. But if I have to choose one, it's very simple. But I just like the tone of it, and I like the overall build-up to the scene that was coming after. Basically, okay, so it's the scene where basically Davy Jones finds out that Will took the key and he left the parchment, and he grabbed Bootstrap Bill by the neck, and he's like, yo, watch this, and then literally they were like going in a circle, for the Kraken. Yes, and then I mean, by the way, me and my friend, we always quote Davy Jones every time. Like, especially, do you fear death or the dark abyss? Like, just the way how he talks, we love it. We loved it. Anyway, so the scene for me is literally the Davy Jones speech that he gave when he was awakening the Kraken. Like, let no voice be heard. Let no man look up at the sky with hope. And let this day be cursed by we who are ready to wake the Kraken. And like Booster was like, no. And then boom, the waves that were sent to awaken the Kraken. So that scene alone was like my favorite in the movie. The third one, is difficult. But I will say this: if I have to choose, I would say my favorite scene is definitely, again, it's Davy Jones centric, but the one with where Tia Dalma and Davy Jones were talking in prison.
Yes. Okay.
Where he visits her, with the singing medallion and everything. Like, I like that scene. I always repeat it over and over because it's so well done, and I love the overall development of the characters of like Tia Dalma and Davy Jones. So that's definitely my favorite one. On Stranger Tides, I'm going with the Blackbeard's appearance. The first time he appeared on scene, like when he appeared, and then the way how he used the sword of Triton to tie everyone up like salami. Like that scene alone for me was absolutely amazing, and the overall speech that he gave was absolutely great. So that's my favorite one on Stranger Tides. Now, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Ooh, that's a tough one. I have to say my favorite one. It's simple, but my favorite one. It has to be where Barbossa and Salazar met.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The overall conversation they had. I would say that scene alone was was my favorite, especially when it comes to Salazar's character. I mean, I love that part when he was like, "Yeah, that this pirate wishes to be cordial. So let me show what my cordiality is, hombre. Every time I tap my sword, one of your men will die. So I suggest you speak quickly." And then, boom, one time, one man dies. I want to go faster, Capitan. Boom, boom. Like, I love that. And especially at the end, like, on behalf of me crew. And he's like, few times with his sword, like, doom, 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 doom. And he's like, "Hey, you can take what's left of them. The living come aboard." Like, I would say, yeah, that on Dead Men Tell No Tales, that's definitely my favorite one, for sure.
That's That's a good one.
Yeah, but now I want to ask you this, but before we go to other topics, one of the things that I always kind of had a problem with the movies of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies is that, especially the first trilogy, is that the uncontrollable amount of deleted scenes. Like, I don't know if you ever watched any deleted scenes of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so basically, one of the problems I always had with Pirates of the Caribbean movies is that there were some scenes that they deleted that I thought, like, man, I wish they kept them. Like, for example, when Elizabeth Swann and Jack Sparrow were alone on the island, when Barbossa dropped them, literally, like, there was one point where, like, Elizabeth Swann was like kind of like talking about Jack Sparrow and his overall character and reputation, and there was one scene, deleted scene, where literally it was like the truth, and he was like showing different scars on his body, kind of like showing the truth of, like, all the hell that Jack Sparrow has been through, basically. So that scene, or for example, when Cutler Beckett and Jack Sparrow met on his ship, and I mean, you kind of had a brief conversation, like why he got the P on his arm, why the P that was branded, but in the actual deleted scene, it kind of explains why he actually got the P. Like, for example, the reason why because he was working for the West India Company at first. I think like kind of like a mercenary or something. But anyway, he was trying to deliver some cargo, and literally, he liberated that cargo, and basically that's why Cutler Beckett got him the P. But there's one line in the movie, in that deleted scene, that I felt like, man, I wish they kept it. And there was literally when Jack Sparrow said, "People are in cargo, mate," which kind of shows that he liberated people, basically slaves from the ship, And I was like, man, that scene, the way how they did it, I was like, man, I wish they kept that scene, because there's even a theory that kind of connects with the deleted scene. When Jack Sparrow said, "People are in cargo, mate." Remember those black people that lived where Tia Dalma was?
Yes.
So there's actually a theory going around that what if those people were actually the cargo that he
Ooh,
liberated? You know what I'm trying to say?
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, and again, there was a guy who actually made a theory about it, and I was like, that actually kind of makes sense. So I was like, man, I wish they kept it. Or, for example, again at World's End, when Governor Swan and everyone was like on the Flying Dutchman, and he was talking about like when Davy Jones was talking to him like your daughter is already dead, because of all the Kraken fiasco on the Black Pearl in Dead Man's Chest, and basically Governor Swan was trying to stab the heart of Davy Jones, and Davy Jones literally came to the scene, and he was like, let him do it, and he's like, are you prepared for what comes after? Like. When I casted that cursed vessel off my body, I cast upon a terrible geisha. The crew are no bound to me. They're bound to the Dutchman. If you stab my heart, yours must take its place. Like, it's an unfinished scene, but I was like, man, I wish they kept that scene. I wish they kept it, because it kind of also shows you, it kind of also explains a little bit deeper, like why Governor Swan died. When he was like on that boat in the land of the dead. You get one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of explains why he was on that boat in a way. Like, that's one of the problems I have. Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales didn't have too many deleted scenes. Well, on Dead Men Tell No Tales, there is one scene that I hoped they would have actually kept it. For example, when Henry was like pointing the sword toward Jack Sparrow, and he had his flintlock loaded, and he was like, next time you raise your sword, boy, will be the last to die. So basically, before that, like few seconds before, the actual deleted scene was like, oh, like, come on, mate, like try to point it like more carefully. Strain your pommel, stop shaking. Very good. Now run me through. What? Your first murder? Happy to be part of it. Just I hope you not mind the old blood and bulging eyeballs and such. Like if I wanted to kill you, like you'll be dead already. And I'm like, and you're a fool if you think I'm gonna let you. And then click, the flintlock. I was like, man, I wish that they kept that scene, because like it kind of shows you how Jack Sparrow was teaching him how to actually hold a sword. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
Yeah, that would have been a cool scene to keep in.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's one of the biggest problems I had with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, because like there's a lot of deleted scenes that was like, man, I wish they kept them. Which again was only like a few minutes difference. It would nothing would have happened. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm talking a little bit too much.
Now I'm trying to remember the third Pirates. It's been a while since I've seen that. How long was that movie?
I don't know exactly. Wait, just give me a second.
Wasn't that like borderline 3 hours? I thought I might be remembering that wrong.
Let me check it out. Just a second. Just a second. Oh shit! It's actually 168 minutes.
Ooh.
Jesus, I mean that's like almost. Yeah, you're right. Almost like 3 hours.
See, I thought that was, but the other two, the two after that, they were much shorter though, weren't they? They were like an hour and a half or 2 hours, weren't they?
Wait. So wait a minute. So the Curse of the Black Pearl was like, it was like 2 hours and 13 minutes. No, and 23 minutes. Dead Man's Chest was like 151 minutes. On Stranger Tides was like 2 hours and 70 minutes long, and on Dead Men Tell No Tales, I think was like 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, every single one of them was like over 2 hours.
I thought at World's End was longer.
Oh yeah, I mean, at World's End of all of them, I think like it was the longest one of them all. Which honestly, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind, if the movie was like 3 hours.
Yeah, I didn't really mind that much. Because I kind of think, I mean, whenever you do a cliffhanger movie and then you have the other part coming out, I think the other part can be a little bit longer. I think it's okay if the first part is short and then the second part does go close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
I just think that kind of it makes sense. But I agree with you. I mean, I haven't seen the deleted scenes myself, the deleted stuff myself.
You
But it
should.
sounds like there's a lot of stuff that they could have kept and should have.
Trust me, you should, because like there's a lot of deleted scenes from all the movies that some of them you're gonna think like, man, I wish they kept them. Trust me, there's a lot of them that I think that would have made the movies even better. Now, one of the things I want to ask you, if you had to pick one out of all 5 of them, which one would you pick as like your favorite movie of the series?
Mm-hmm. I'd probably pick On Stranger Tides because I like the dynamic between Jack and Angelica in that.
Okay.
So I think I'd pick On Stranger Tides. Although Dead Man Toes No Tails, I did like the whole Barbossa and Barbossa's kid thing. I think I'm going to go Stranger. I think I'm going to go on Stranger Tides.
Okay, fair enough.
How about you?
Fair enough. By the way, I just want to congratulate you because a lot of people would never choose On Stranger Tides as their favorite. So I'm going to congratulate you on this one, sir. I really do. I think like everyone who worked on that movie, they'll be very happy to hear that. That's for sure. Now, for me, my favorite movie of the series. Again, I love all 5 of them equally. None of them like I love more or less. Like I love them equally. But I have to choose my favorite one. Oh my god, it's difficult. Because again, I love I really had super fun time with The Curse of the Black Pearl. I love Dead Man's Chest. Adored At World's End. On Stranger Tides was great. Dead Man Tell No Tales was also great. But I have to choose. You know what? I'm gonna keep it. My favorite one of the series, I'm going with At World's End. Because I like the overall story and the overall conclusion to the trilogy, and most of all, the overall conclusion to the Elizabeth Swann and William Turner story. That's the one thing. Like that's one of the things. Also, the way how we went deeper to the Davy Jones or backstory and his character. The oh my god, like the battles, like the sea battle on the Maelstrom, the duel between Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones. Like that was like fucking epic, especially on the board of the Flying Dutchman. From like also the Brother in Court in like in the Shipwreck Cove. That scene alone with all these different pirates was really great. Like from Capitaine Cheval, which of course in French means horse. Like I just love that, like Captain Cheval, the penniless Frenchman, and I'm like, he calls himself Captain Horse. Okay, no matter. And Captain Cheval. Then like you have Sisum Baji, Amanda Corsair, Villanueva, Mistress Ching, which of course it's a parody of Madame Ching, like an actual historical pirate. Who was else there? Gentleman Jocard, Barbossa, Jack Sparrow. It was supposed to be Sao Fang. I mean, Chow Yun-fat. I mean, a lot of people don't recognize him in that movie, but Chow Yun-fat, who plays Sao Fang, he was great in that.
Was he the guy who played Roshi?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but in that movie, At World's End, I loved in that movie. He was great, and a lot of people don't appreciate him in that movie, but his performance I loved. That as well.
Too.
I mean, come on. Yeah, I was mentioning that. Come on. Fucking Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones playing the father of Jack Sparrow. I mean, come on. I mean, to be fair, like my father, who's a big fan of the Rolling Stones, when he saw that scene, he lost his shit. He was literally having a music-gasm, if you're gonna put it that way, when he saw him. I loved him. Especially the way he called him Jackie. Oh my God, it was great. It was really great. So I give you that. So if I had to choose my favorite movie of the series, definitely I'm going with At World's End, because there's a lot of the story, especially the story parts in that movie, that I really, really loved. But also, one thing I will say this now, which again, I want to ask you this: of all the scenes in the 5 movies, which ones do you find the most disgusting? Because I have one perfect for that. But I want to ask you, which scenes do you find, or moments do you find the most disgusting in the 5 in these like 5 movies? Like, you have to pick just one, not like by each movie, but like one in total.
That's a good question. I have to think about that.
Because I already have one picked, which I thought like was like the most disturbing and most disgusting scene I've ever seen in my life.
That's a good question. I'd have to go back and watch them, because I'm having trouble thinking of the disgusting scenes.
So you have a clue, like which one would you pick?
I'm having trouble remembering. I'm having trouble thinking of the disgusting scenes in the movies.
Why do you think? Can I tell mine?
Yeah.
When Davy Jones was choking to death with his tentacles, that Mercer guy from Cutler Beckett.
Oh, yeah.
That scene, like I watched At World's End in the theater. That scene was like so disgusting, so disturbing, because like the way how he went with his tentacles in his mouth, down his throat, and all the way to his nose, and the way it was. Even though I will say this, I hate that character. And I was like so glad that he killed him. But the way he did it, it was so disturbing and disgusting. And I was like, wow, like that's like one of the most disgusting like villain acts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that just made me think. This isn't a disgusting thing, but it made me think one of the funniest scene, at least in Dead Man Tells No Tales, is we're gonna get hate. We're gonna get hate mail from all the animal lovers out there after I say this scene. But what the heck? By the way, if you want to send us hate mail, make it out to We Don't Care Lane, please. Anyhow, so the scene was whenever Jack is captured by the cannibals, and then they're chasing them, and then they see the dog standing there, and they all go after the little dog instead.
But did you watch the crate scene?
The crate scene. When they're in like they're in like the cages, those cages.
No, the post crate scene from Dead Man's Chest.
Oh yes.
What happened to the dog? He became chief. And also, by the way, we're not gonna get hate for this comment, because by the way, he survives because he's at World's End. In Shipwreck Cove with the brother in court. So don't worry, guys. The dog is alive and well. I mean, in real life, I don't know if he's still alive or still ticking, but like in the movie, he was still ticking. And again, I love that scene where like when Captain Teague was like, "Sea turtles, mate." It kind of goes with the story that Josh McGibbs was trying to tell about like how Jack Sparrow escaped the island. Oh my God, I love that. So, okay, I will add. So your funniest scene would have been with the dog, being chased. Okay, yeah. My funniest scene. Oh shit. Oh shit. Out of all the funniest scenes I've seen, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna go with when Jack Sparrow was kind of like teaching Henry how to court Karina. When he was like, never fell in love with her sister, killed the brother, And then basically he like, Savvy, no, Savvy. And basically, oh, by the way, that accordion was gonna cost you, I don't know how many coins. He's like, I'm not gonna pay you for that. And he's like, never say that to a woman.
I also love that movie, the glee he takes in telling Barbosa that his daughter's a horologist.
Oh my, that was hilarious.
I love
That was hilarious.
I get the joke there, which makes it even which made it even funnier.
The funniest thing is that the horologist actually as a profession exists.
Yeah.
And it's actually pronounced that way. But I love that, especially I love that part when Scrub said, so was my mom, but she didn't claim loud as you did. And he's like, and she's like, well, your mother, your mother was like new. What was the word? She was like intelligence, like what was the word she used? Your mother was like something, and he's like, and Jack Sparrow's like more like horizontally reclined, because they thought she was a whore.
The only thing I would say with Dead Man Tells No Tales is, so I said earlier I like the scene where Barbosa sacrifices himself. I like the character growth with that. The only thing I would say about that is that does sort of concern me a little bit, killing off his character, because, and I mean, I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but it does kind of concern me a little bit going forward in the franchise, because I don't know how you're going to do. I think that part of what makes those movies so great is I think in each of them there's a dynamic between Jacko and Barbosa that is really fun to watch. So I don't know how a Pirates of the Caribbean movie without that dynamic will do. So I guess that was one of my favorite scenes in that movie, one of my favorite things in that movie, but also one of the things I kind of went, oh boy, I don't know if they should have done this or not.
Yeah, I get you. Oh, I mean, like, we just gonna have to wait and see. But I think like his overall character arc, I think it's over. I don't think they're gonna try to resurrect him again. I don't think that they will. Now, one of the other things I want to mention is that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies they gave us was like, for me at least, is incredible performances.
Yes.
From the first movie to Dead Man Tell No Tales, every single performance for me worked. None of them were bad or just simply gray zone balance or just fine. For me, every single performance worked, which kind of brings me to your question. Brings me to a question that I ask you, which is, of all the cast members. Now I'm gonna play a little bit dirty here.
Okay.
Of all the cast members, besides Johnny Depp, because we all love Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. I mean, come on, that's obvious. But outside Johnny Depp, which casting would you say is your favorite out of all of them? If you can choose, but if it makes it any easier, I'm gonna make it easy for you. Choose your top three. Top three.
And you said outside who's off limits?
Outside Johnny Depp, because he's off limits because we all love him.
Okay. I'd say Keira Knightley. I'd say Orlando Bloom.
Who's the third?
I'd say Jeffrey Rush.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'd say Jeffrey Rush primarily because whoever played Barbosa, they would have to have really good chemistry with Johnny Depp.
And Jeffrey Rush did an amazing job.
Yeah. That chemistry he had with Johnny Depp in the movie, I mean, they needed to have that, and they did. And that's why I have to put him in there. Yeah, those would be my top three. How about you?
Okay, my top three. Now, be prepared for this one. Now, the first two, I would say it's no brainer. But okay, number one, Bill Nighy. 2, Jeffrey Rush. And 3, Javier Bardem. He plays Salazar.
Oh, yeah.
So those are my 3 top favorite cast members. of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Now, here's now. So again, Bill Nighy, Jeffrey Rush, and Javier Bardem. Now, okay, with a with a heavy heart, I want to ask you, who are your least favorite? Top 3. I know it's with a heavy heart I'm saying this because for me all the performances were great, but like if you're gonna have to choose your least favorites, who would it be? Top 3.
Least favorites. The woman who played Calypso.
Tia Dalma. What's her name? Just a second. What's her name?
I need to pull it up real quick so I know. So I
wait, what was it? It's just give me a second. It's Naomi Harris.
Okay, yes, her. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the other characters. Sam Callion. No, not Callion. Calvin.
Remind me, he played.
He was the missionary on Blackbeard's ship.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And then,
Who'll be the third one?
And I would also say, maybe, I'm trying to look. I'll say Jack Davenport.
Remind me, he played who?
He played James Norringham. Nor
Oh, James Norrington.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So that's your top. So that's your top 3 like least favorite ones.
Yes.
Okay. So for me, I'm going. Okay. So again, I respect the actor. I really do, but I do have to mention him. So Jack Davenport as James Norrington. I do agree with you. Like he's also one of my least favorite ones. With a heavy heart, I'm saying this, but Tom Hollander as Cutler Beckett. He's like one of my least favorite ones, even though I love his performance still. So it's kind of ironic. And the third one I would choose is the mermaid Serena on Stranger Tides. I mean, for what they gave her, she was okay. But like, if I have to choose, like, she's literally one of my least favorite ones when it comes to the cast. What?
Yeah. So I'm surprised you said Cutler Beckett.
I know. I mean, like, because again, I'm a fan of Tom Hollander, as an actor. I really am. But like, I know. I think like because like I didn't like the character, and even though like his performance was like very typical, kind of like those like British officers / politicians in a way. Like there was nothing much to it when it comes to his overall performance for what Verbinski and the others gave him. So that's why he's one of my least favorite ones. But even still, I enjoy for what he did, even though he is one of my least favorite ones. Now I want to ask you. What were your overall reaction? I literally want to ask you so we mentioned Keith Richards as Captain Teague. And then in Dead Man Tell No Tales, we had fucking Paul McCartney as Uncle Jack. So my question to you is, what were your reactions to see those two musicians in these movies?
So Paul McCartney, I actually kind of recognized Keith Richards. So I'm going to be honest. At first, I didn't know who he was.
Really?
Yeah. At first, it just kind of went over. Like everybody else in the theater, like was clapping, and I was like, "What? what the hell? I don't understand who I didn't know who it was. But then I looked it up.
Did you have someone near you to explain it?
No.
Oh, wow, that's even worse. Okay.
And then, but Paul McCartney, I knew who he was, so he kind of his cameo, his appearance didn't go over my head as much. But Keith Richards, his appearance went over my head at first, but I liked it. I thought it was cool that they got those two in there. I heard that they talked about at some point, or I think I read it somewhere. They talked about having Mick Jagger at some point.
Yeah, those were rumors about, like, if they continue with Johnny Depp, like those were rumors they wanted Mike Jagger in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, it kind of makes sense why Johnny Depp, because again, having Keith Richards in Pirates of the Caribbean movies alongside Paul McCartney, those were all, if I remember correctly, from the stories I've heard, those were all Johnny Depp wishes, because like he was a big fan of the Rolling Stones. And I don't know if it was like he was a fan of Paul McCartney or like the Beatles, but he was a big fan of them, basically. So that's why he wanted them in it, So again, there was basically Jerry Bruckheimer kind of like granting Johnny Depp's wishes, basically. But I will say this: even when I was little, I kind of knew who Keith Richards was, because there was kind of like the times when I kind of discovered the Rolling Stones as well. So I was kind of like, oh my God. I was like, at first I was like, wait a minute. That nose, that facial expression, like he looks so familiar. And then I was like looking more and more when I was in the theater. I was like, Dad, it's him. It's Keith Richards. It's the guy from the Rolling Stones. And my dad was like, oh, trust me, I know that, son. I know that. Because I'm telling you, my father lost his shit when he saw Keith Richards, And again, I cannot explain to you how he was blown when he saw him on Stranger Tides as well. Because, I mean, come on. His appearance on Stranger Tides, no one could have called it. Come on. But the one thing I will say this, because I haven't heard anywhere this news, but when I saw Paul McCartney as Uncle Jack, that was literally when I lost my shit. Because I was like, wait a minute. That pirate singing, I was like, that voice sounds so familiar, especially the singing part. And I was like, wait, oh my God, it sounds familiar. Like, where have I heard that before? I mean, the voice. And I was like, where is that? Oh my God, who is this guy? And when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, they got Paul McCartney. I cannot believe this. Like, it was like, it was out of nowhere. And I love that. I really, really, really love that. But the one thing we can both agree, every single cast member, in our opinion, did their part, right?
Yeah, they were well cast. I mean, I think the best one, he was off limits, but the best one was Johnny Depp. I mean, that's his series. I mean,
come on. He is the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Without him, there's no Pirates. Like, I heard that they were talking about doing Pirates of the Caribbean without him at some point. I don't see how that. No.
All right, let's see what Caroline has to say. I heard Paul McCartney on the radio today. Great, good for you, Caroline. Good for you. By the way, it's really great to see you.
Hi, Caroline. Did Paul McCartney need some help?
Yeah, he is the whole movie. Wait, you talk about
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, Johnny Depp, man. Yeah. I agree with you, Caroline. I do agree. Like, he is the Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, my God, we already have another one.
He did not need help.
No, he did not need help. There is a delay. Oh, my God. Nice one, Caroline. Nice one. Well, if you hear something, let us know. Perhaps we can help him in some capacity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the news, Caroline.
Yes. He needed help when he was younger, so much younger than today.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. So anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Now, here's one of my...
Those days are gone. He's not so self-assured. I think that's the problem.
Okay.
I just hope he eventually changes his mind and opens up the door.
Who knows? We shall see. But I mean, anything is possible in this kind of like mortal coils. If I call this world, basically, anything is possible. Anyway, now we go to one of the parts that is like one of my favorites of this subject, favorite characters. Now, to make it easier for you, my question is, if you have to pick, which are your top 5 favorite characters?
Well, who has to be number 1?
No.
Yes.
Oh, fuck yourself. Go ahead and say it. Fuck off, but go ahead and say it. Come on.
Jack Sparrow.
But you little shit. You did it on purpose. I know you were gonna say Mephisto. So don't play dumb with me, okay? Don't play dumb with me, Mike. I know how your mind works. You little sea dog. You little 4-eyed, double-crossing, clam chowder eating sea dog.
Ooh, I'm going to change my answer. That just made me think. I'm changing my answer. Okay, so number 1 is the dog from Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Okay, and 1 and 3.
Jack.
Okay.
Jack
who? The monkey or Jack Sparrow?
Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
The monkey. I forgot about the monkey.
He's the mascot of the movies.
Jack Human, the dog, Mephisto.
Fuck off. But seriously now, who is your number 3?
Okay. Number 3 is, I think I might have to use up 2 on these because I can't do a duo as one. Those 2 pirates from the second and third movies and the first movie who are
Pintel and Ragetti.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll accept that as a free. I'll accept that.
Okay. So them, let me think who else. Oh, Gibbs.
Of course.
Did I say
5?
Barbossa?
No.
Okay, Barbossa.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper with that one. Again, number 1, Jack Sparrow. Again, Jack Sparrow, not the monkey. Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones, Barbossa, Joshua Gibbs, and the 5th place goes to let me think. It's a tie, but if I have to choose, I'm going with Pintel and Ragetti.
Ooh, okay.
So again, Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones, Barbossa, Joshua Gibbs, and Pintel and Ragetti. Those are like my top 5. But also, did you notice we didn't mention at all Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner?
That is
as
true.
Our favorites.
And they were good characters. I mean, they had really good arcs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks like they were not the ones who we gave a fuck in the movies.
Yeah. Well, when you have Johnny Depp in the movies, he really takes a lot of the thunder away from the other characters.
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean it's true. I mean
it's unfortunate. I mean it's a little unfortunate because Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann I think they're great characters. I think they're well-rounded. I think they have great arcs, but I don't know. They're just for me. They fall a little short compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, here's the thing: who can fucking beat that epic entrance of Jack Sparrow in The Curse of the Black Pearl? Yeah. I mean, like at first, okay, Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom, but then when Johnny Depp appears as Jack Sparrow on that sinking boat, you're like, fuck those 2 characters. This is my man. Like, this is Jack Sparrow. He is the man. And literally, that's literally the case in this case. Like, fuck those 2 characters, even though they had great arcs. Fuck them. Who cares about them? I mean, again, I'm kind of being cruel in a very jokey way, but yes, I do agree. Like, they're very interesting characters. But those 5 for me and the 5 for you, beat them. But to on a safe side, I will say this: they're definitely in my top 10. Definitely, yeah. Now, I mean, one of the things I have to go back to this just for a brief moment because I want to ask you, of all the 5 movies, which ones for you had the most had the best story?
I think the third one, at World's End, I think that definitely did. I think on Stranger Tides definitely did.
Again, really big surprise. A lot of people is gonna beat the crap out of you.
Well, if anybody wants to send me hate mail, send it to 101 Beetlejuice Lane.
What's gonna happen next? You're gonna say later, fuckers.
But no, I think those 2 movies. I also liked Dead Man Tells No Tales.
The overall story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but which one would you choose as your favorite?
If I had to choose my favorite, I'd probably go with World's End.
Yeah, I mean, on this one, I'm gonna say this with you. I'm gonna say this: you and I, in this case, are on the same boat because, like, even for me, at World's End was like my favorite story. Really well written, really well made. Now, I want to ask you this: we say our favorite characters, but to make this interesting, which top 5 are your least favorite ones?
Well, Cutler Beckett for sure.
Okay.
Who was the other guy? Cutler Beckett. Who was the other guy with him?
Mercer. You mean he's like a right-hand man? Wait, you mean wait, are you talking about Cutler Beckett's like right-hand man, the assistant?
Cutler Beckett. Oh, James Norrington.
Oh, okay.
Tia Dalma. I wasn't crazy about her.
Okay.
Who else?
2 more.
I wasn't crazy about the missionary in on Stranger Tides. And also I'd say the mermaid in that movie too.
Serena. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's 5. For me, again, Cutler Beckett, just as you. Governor Swan. James Norrington. I would say the missionary. And the 5th one, I'm going with which one I have to choose? Scrub.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I liked Serena. I liked her, what she had in Stranger Tides. I liked her. All the other characters were fine with me, but they had to choose my 5th one. I'm definitely gonna go with Scrub. Don't get me wrong, he was fun, but not like not like my cup of tea when it comes to like characters. Now here comes to the other part that for me.
Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Okay. And now a word from our sponsor.
Are you tired of fruity and candy-like ice cream? Well, here we have for you something special, says I. Join us in a Shipwreck Co., a new product. An ice cream made all kinds of fish. Yes, we have tuna, we have Salvador, we have sharks, we have octopus, all kinds of sea creatures ice cream. So, without any further ado, come on down to our market and join a fresh taste of salty ice cream made of fish and all sea creatures.
Candy-like ice cream. Purchased.
But which kind of fish ice cream did you purchase, Caroline? Yarr.
By the way, while I was away, I was doing like a commercial of like what I basically said.
Are you tired of like fruity and chocolate like Kendo's kind of like ice creams? Well, come on down to Fish
ice cream. Basically, for all kinds of fishes and sea creatures. And literally, like Caroline, I'm going to put it again, said, purchased. I kind of asked her, like, what type of fish did she purchase? Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes, candy like ice cream. Yes, candy is ice cream. Yes.
Yeah. But we're not selling those kinds of ice cream, says I. No. Like a very fresh ice cream we have on the market is, of course, we already have a comment. Aye, that's correct, lassie. Oh, this is a good one. Oh my God. Aye, you're right. Goldfish. Ooh, but that's very wise choice, lassie. That's a product we got last year, but today, a very special price, we have ice cream of a sperm whale with a little touch of their own milk as well. So come on down to the market on Shipwreck Cove to get your own sperm whale ice cream. Yar. Here ends the commercial. Trust me, TK, if you're going to be in my Shadow Councils, be prepared to see more shenanigans like this. Anyway. Okay, now with the commercial over, basically, now we go to the part I'm really excited to talk about with you, the villains. Now, one of the things I think we can both agree, one of the strongest parts of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, besides Johnny Depp and, of course, the soundtrack, are, of course, the villains. Would you agree?
Yes.
Now, again, with all the 5 movies, and I'm going to talk about just like the main villains, not like the minor ones or secondary. Here's my question for you. When it comes to the villains, it's a 2-part question. So, one is, who is your favorite? And the second part is, how would you rank them from worst to best? Again, it's a 2-part question.
Okay. Okay. So my favorite villain. Let me think for a sec. Okay. So my favorite villain is Mephisto.
Fuck you. Or should I say, you're gonna walk the plank, laddie?
No, but my favorite villain is I'd say Davy Jones.
Okay.
And then ranked from, did you say best to worst or worst to best?
No, worst to best.
Okay, worst to best. I would say worst Blackbeard. Let's see, this is going to be hard because we're going to have to count Barbossa as a villain.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we're going to count him because the actions of Curse of the Black Pearl.
Okay, well then I'm going to change it then. Okay, so I'm going to put Barbossa as number 5.
Because of the redemption thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to put Barbossa's number 5. I'm going to put Blackbeard at number 4.
Okay.
I'm going to put Salazar at number 3. Who am I forgetting? David Jones is 1. So who am I forgetting?
You're saying that Cutler Beckett is your number 2.
Yes.
You're kidding me.
No, wait. No. I'm going to switch Cutler Beckett, so let me think for a sec. Okay, so I'm going to do definitely Barbossa as number 5. I'll do Cutler Beckett as 4. And then I'll do Blackbeard as 3. I'll do Zalzar as 2. And I'll do Davy Jones as 1.
Thank God for that. I thought, like, the Cutler Beckett being your second favorite. Like, I'm like, what?
I completely forgot Cutler Beckett.
I mean, the guy is a pussy. I mean, seriously. Anyway, so for me, this is gonna be easy. For me, is last place, Cutler Beckett. So that's like that's 6. So Cutler Beckett. 5th place, I'm going with Blackbeard. Fourth place, I'm going with. Let me think. Wait. Just give me a second. So, okay. 5 places. Sorry, my bad. Fifth place, Cutler Beckett. Fourth place, Blackbeard. Third place, Barbosa. Second place, Salazar, and number 1, of course, Davy Jones. I mean, come on, we can both agree. Davy Jones is the most iconic villain and well created in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing is, I was jumping up and down when I saw the great scene in Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yes.
I mean, literally, I was like, oh my God, Davy Jones is back. I was like, oh my God. So, I mean, the reason why, even though I know that Barbosa at the end gets redemption, especially from the second movie to the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth, but still, like, the reason why I ranked him so high, because I was just only trying to judge Barbosa for what he was in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why he's very high, because like when it comes to overall redemption parts and everything, that's not, I usually don't judge characters like that. I usually try to remove that and just simply judge them the way how they were as villains. So, but here's a question for you. And I think it's going to be an obvious one. But when it comes to villains development, which one do you think was the best?
Villain development.
I think I know the answer you're going to give me.
Yeah, Davy Jones.
Yeah. I mean, we can both agree Davy Jones is the best one. The best, like when it comes to well written, even though a lot of people thought it's actually the opposite, that he was bad as a villain. But for me personally, I disagree. He was really well written. Loved his role in Dead Man's Chest, and at World's End, they just simply made it even better.
Yes.
But I would say the closest one, I would go with Salazar. When it comes to villains like being written. I mean, what do you think? Would you say Salazar is like the closest one to Davy Jones?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, oh shit. You know what? I'm going to change my answer to my favorite scene in Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's not Hector Barbosa, it's the flashback scene. Where he was young Jack Sparrow fighting Salazar. No, I'm going to change my answer that my favorite scene in Dead Men Tell No Tales is definitely that flashback scene. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now, when it comes to like again, we said well written. So again, Salazar, Davy Jones, Salazar is definitely the closest one. When it comes to villains, I just want to say this. I'm still shocked that Barbosa has a daughter. I'm still shocked that someone like him has a daughter. Because I don't know. I mean, when the revelation came that Karina was his daughter, I mean, what was your reaction?
I was surprised. I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the twist, but I was surprised. But it, I get your point, though. I mean, it is kind of surprising that it was a daughter. I don't know.
I mean, for me personally, I mean, it came out of nowhere. I mean, okay, I was kind of surprised that Barbosa was like, especially with that scene on the ship when he was like, they were talking about the notebook about Galileo Galilei, and he was like, "Well, that would be Karina," and he was like, "Yes, that's right. So you do know your stars," and he's like, "I'm a captain. I know my way home." But during that time, with that expression on his face, I was like, okay, like what the fuck is going on? And then later on, especially with the compass thing, I was like, man, oh my God, I was like, that's his daughter. And I was like, how can someone like Barbosa have a daughter? I'm sorry. I mean, I agree with Jack Sparrow on this one, okay? Like when Jack Sparrow said, I have to admit, Hector, I mean, you are very, very ugly. So how can someone have a fetching creature as her as your daughter? Like, oh my God. Like, I mean, do you kind of get what I'm going with this?
Yes.
And also Margaret Smith, like, what the fuck did she found interesting Barbosa? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, everyone has a chance to be with a true love, but like, seriously, with Barbosa, I'm like, how can he have kids?
Oh, I just had a comment come in
Go
on the
ahead.
stream. I'm going to keep the person anonymous. They say salty ice cream is disgusting.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the whole point with Fishman ice cream. It's the whole point to have the feeling of the sea. All the 7 seas, to be precise. That's the whole point. Anyway, now I want to say this. Again, this just okay. It's gonna connect with the next topic I'm having, but I want to ask you, if you know what, I'm gonna go with this topic. You know what, I don't care. Here's my question. My first question about Pirates of the Caribbean 6 with a question mark. If Pirates of the Caribbean 6 actually happens, which I think today it's kind of unlikely, but if it happens, I want to ask you kind of like a creative question. What kind of villain would you wish to see? Again, it's a very creative question, but I want to ask you, like, what kind of villain would you wish to see in Pirates of the Caribbean 6 if, again, big if it happens?
That's a good question. Let me think about that for a minute.
You have all the time you need. The clock is ticking and the Kraken is getting closer and closer. The question is, will you be swallowed by the mouth or being strangled by the tentacles?
You know what would be a cool villain? It would be a cool villain.
Go ahead.
I don't know if they can do this or not. They probably can't with the ending of the last one, but it would still be cool. I'd like to see Will come back, but like corrupted, like as Davy Jones, kind of.
Well, the way how Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales ended, with the Trident of Poseidon being broken and all the curses being broken as well,
Mhm.
I don't know how Will Turner can actually return being corrupted. Because, he was released from the Flying Dutchman thing, so I don't know how that actually could happen. But one thing I could definitely see is that perhaps maybe Davy Jones, but this time being turned into a human. I'm just kind of like making theory, especially with the barnacles, kind of like, being near the bed with the water and everything.
That would be interesting. See,
Because
they couldn't. No, I'm trying to think who would. I'm trying to think who would work as a villain.
Go ahead, and then I will tell you my own personal opinion.
They could bring Davy Jones back somehow. He wouldn't be a bad idea. My only concern with that would be bringing him back as long as it doesn't feel too recycled. But I'd be curious to see what they do with him if they brought him back.
Now, here's the thing. Again, it's something that is connected with the video I did about Pirates of the Caribbean 6 7 years ago. But literally, like the theory I have is this: that basically, if they do a Pirates of the Caribbean 6, again, big if they do, I can definitely see Davy Jones returning, but this time as a human. Not like, as the tentacle fishman monster as he was, like in Dead Man's Chest in The World's End. But here's another thing. My overall theory is this. Pirates of the Caribbean 6, I always kind of mentioned that this could be, basically Davy Jones returning, but also at the same time, we could also see Angelica returning. Because the reason why the kind of like reason behind what I'm trying to say this is that basically, you see like a group of like pirates basically uniting to kind of go up against Jack Sparrow, kind of like basically having like uneven score with him, basically, kind of like a team up, a villain team up basically against Jack Sparrow. Now in this, again with Davy Jones thing, this kind of also connects with Will Turner as well. So that means Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner have to be involved in some capacity. But the main thing is what I think, like, Pirates of the Caribbean 6 will definitely need to have an original villain, because remember, when the Trident of Poseidon was broken, it doesn't mean that all the curses that were broken were good. Some of the curses that were broken were bad. That means that those curses could have easily unleashed something maybe far worse than Davy Jones. I mean, do you get what I'm going with this?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
I mean, think about it. Like, for example, you could have a villain, for example, like an undead pirate or something else, basically, like, basically a pirate-like character that is like imprisoned through a curse, basically. And then, like, when the Trident of Poseidon was destroyed, this curse was basically broken, and he is unleashed upon the world. He or she.
So maybe then the villain could be somebody like, let me think for a sec. So maybe the villain could be somebody like Beetlejuice.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but ha ha ha. I mean, I mean, again, I wouldn't go that far, but the one thing I would definitely say is that, for me personally, like, again, the main villain, if I have to do Pirates of the Caribbean 6, the way how I would have done it is basically, the villain itself, like the overall main villain of the story, what I would have done basically is that it would have definitely been someone new, someone like, has nothing to do with Jack Sparrow. However, you could have easily do like a thing where basically he recruits some of the villains basically who were affected by the curse, like some curses of the sea, in which like you can also explain that, for example, Davy Jones was recruited by this, like, villain who was like unleashed because the curses were broken. You can do that basically, or you can easily do like a villain team up of like some old villains basically going up against Jack Sparrow and the others. But like for me personally, the way how I would have done it basically is that, first and foremost, Pirates of the Caribbean 6 being kind of like this grand finale of the series, in which like basically when the Trident was destroyed, it unleashed some of the curses that when they were broken was something like far more worse than, like, basically having them under the curse, which basically means like, you can have a villain that was unleashed because of that. And also a villain that kind of like, recruits some of the villains that were like under those curses. And one of them, could easily be a Davy Jones, but this time, returning back as a human, So basically, again, you can have a group of villains with one being the main one going up against Jack Sparrow in general and everyone else in the Seven Seas. Which, again, it could be anything, but again, if you're gonna follow Dead Man Tell No Tales, I kind of, again, I think like a villain should be someone who is like, connected to the curses being broken for the Trident. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that. The question I have is, because I read a lot of rumors about what they were going to do with a sixth movie, where they go. And a lot of the rumors I read were they were going to do, at one point they were talking about doing an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. At one point they were talking about moving on from Jack Sparrow. So I guess my question would be is if they move on from Jack Sparrow, I mean, I don't know. Like,
okay, so let me make it easier for you. Okay, because that's literally the next topic after this. So again, if they continue with Pirates of the Caribbean 6, with Johnny Depp being black, being back and everything, and they continue with the storyline of Dead Man Tell No Tales. So try to give you so basically try to give yourself ideas just from that.
Okay,
basically.
well, if they continue from that,
So okay,
from that, I'd like to see Angelica come back for sure, and then the villain. I mean, if they could figure out a way to do it, if they could do it right, I don't know. I would still like to see, because after the third one, I kind of thought it would be an interesting plot point if they wound up doing it, which is what I said earlier about Will getting corrupted by the Flying Dutchman and kind of like becoming Davy Jones and all that. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I don't know. That's the way I would personally go. I mean, I don't know how they would do it, but that's the way I would personally go, because I think there'd be a lot of emotional stakes, and also having Henry too, that would kind of up the ante a little bit too. And I think it'd be an interesting juxtaposition to have Jack Sparrow, to continue to have Jack Sparrow mentor Henry, as opposed to his father mentoring him. I don't know, that would be kind of an interesting element too. I don't know. That's what I'd probably do for a sixth one.
I mean, look, for me personally, the one thing we also have to realize that if, for example, if the sixth one was supposed to be the final one in the franchise, that means that the sixth one should have an ultimate end game type of story, basically, which again, it had to involve everyone, which, not just be Jack Sparrow or Karina or Henry, but also Gibbs, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, literally everyone that still was alive after everything that happened in all the 5 movies. So basically, if I have to give if I have to make a Pirates of the Caribbean 6, literally what I would have done is basically made an end game story, in which again, you can have in which you have a group of heroes, main protagonists, going up against a group of villains, which again, you can have Angelica, you can have Davy Jones on board, but this time Davy Jones would have been the main one. It would have been one of the supporting antagonists in a way, because in my personal ideas I had for Pirates of the Caribbean 6, it should be a fresh one. It should be a new villain. But this time it shouldn't be someone who is connected to Jack Sparrow, because think about it: Barbossa, Davy Jones, Salazar, Angelica, well, besides Blackbeard, Cutler Beckett, most of the villains in Pirates of the Caribbean franchise were connected to who?
Mephisto.
Sort of. To who?
Jack Sparrow.
Exactly. Second time correct. Yeah, exactly. They were all connected to Jack Sparrow. The only ones that were that weren't connected to him was Blackbeard. But everyone else was connected to Jack Sparrow. So for Pirates of the Caribbean 6, I always felt it should be a villain that is not connected to him whatsoever. Basically, but basically someone who's was released from Trident of Poseidon curse, basically, and is trying to spread chaos and mayhem around the 7 seas, basically, and in some capacity recruiting everyone who was kind of under the Trident of Poseidon thing, basically. So, and again, but the thing I want to ask you, if you're going to have a Pirates of the Caribbean 6 endgame thing, could you see some of the characters dying, some of the original characters dying?
Yes.
Which ones do you think will die?
Well, that's a good question. I'd say Will or Elizabeth for sure. One of the two of them. I don't know which one I'd kill. Barbossa's already dead, but he came back before. But
No. This time, honestly, I would have not bring him back to life. I would have left him dead.
With Will or Elizabeth, maybe Henry or what's her name? What was Barbossa's daughter's name again?
Karina.
Maybe Will or Henry Henry or Karina. The only person I wouldn't kill off is Jack, because I think that would be a dumbass move.
You see, that's actually where we're the opposite, because
Really?
I would have actually killed off Jack.
Really?
Yes. First and foremost, in my story, the way how I would have told it, I would have not used Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. I mean, I would have used them, but not like too much. I would actually more concentrate on Henry and Karina, because one of the things what I would have done is basically concentrate on like next generation of pirates. Let's put it that way. So there are two ways how I would have ended the movie. One is literally Jack Sparrow retiring from piracy, after gaining everything he wanted. Or two, actually kill him off, in which he's either sacrificed himself, in which later on he became like a really great pirate legend, basically. I mean, look, if you're gonna continue outside Johnny Depp and Jack Sparrow, that means in Pirates of the Caribbean 6, you're gonna have to kill him off. But if you're gonna have to do it, then at least do it in a very badass way, try to give him a proper send-off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's at least what I would have done, but even the most part of me, I would have literally basically survived the fight, and kind of a lot of years later, kind of have him retired on an island, basically, where he got everything he ever wanted.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess I could see that.
Again, you and I what we're talking is literally like a shot in the dark, because the Pirates of the Caribbean 6 movie could either not happen or might happen. So this is literally like shot in the dark between you and me.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't. I can kind of see your point about killing Jack. I mean,
Because here's the thing. Hear me out. If Pirates of the Caribbean 6, if for example, let me make it easier for you. If, for example, Jerry Bruckheimer and Disney and others, if they didn't want to do an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean movies, if they didn't want to do a Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and so on and so forth, even the movie that shit, what was the actor's name? The one who played Elvis?
Austin Butler.
Okay, if they didn't want to do a Pirates of the Caribbean movie where Austin Butler was supposedly was supposed to be the main character, if they want to keep it between Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, and all their characters that appeared before that, then what I would have done is literally, basically they all survive until the end, in which later, you have decades later on, where basically you have older Jack Sparrow, retiring on an island, but basically he has everything he's ever got. However, if you want to extend the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, let's put it that way, then what I would have done is basically, I would literally, give him a proper send-off. Kind of like a badass way for him to die. In which, in that capacity, you can also kind of continue telling stories inside the Pirates of the Caribbean universe without actually making him connected in a way.
Interesting. See,
I mean, again, those are two options basically. Yeah, which kind of brings me to this topic basically.
It
the future of the. Go ahead.
it looks like, from what I understand about, so it looks like they're doing 2 separate tracks for the Pirates movie. For
Yeah, yeah. Because hear me out. Okay, here's the thing. Hear me out, and that's the reason why we're going to this topic. Now, again, Pirates of the Caribbean 6 could happen, but personally, I have in my guts, I think like it's not gonna happen. But if it does, like Pirates of the Caribbean franchise literally can go on and on even without Jack Sparrow. Because the thing is, Pirates of the Caribbean franchise Pirates of the Caribbean like as a franchise could easily be a cinematic universe where basically you can tell standalone stories that have no connection to like the main storyline, stories that in which like of course you can tell some like brief things, like for example Jack Sparrow defeating Davy Jones and Cutler Beckett, or like some of the events of the Fund of Youth, or like the Curse of the Black Pearl, of like Captain Salazar and the seas belong to the dead and all that. Like you can mention some of the things, but you can expand it. So even though a lot of people don't disagree with me on this one, but again, the old female Pirates of the Caribbean movies that we're talking about, or the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that we're talking like where Margot Robbie will be the main character, or the one with Austin Butler, honestly, I wouldn't care, because like the Pirates of the Caribbean, let's just say cinematic universe in this case, you can tell whatever stories you want, in what timeline, or like that has no connection to the main storyline. I mean, you can go literally to the future, the present, to the past. Like you can even I don't know if you know this, but there are even like a series of like comic books, like black and white comic books, that basically tells the story of like young Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Before he became the captain of the Black Pearl. And I mean, unfortunately, I don't have those comic books, but I did read them online. And they're really great stories. And you can literally do like a Disney Plus animated or like a live action TV show where basically, you tell the stories of like a young Jack Sparrow.
Well, I'm kind of surprised because I didn't read the comics, but they also had like really, really short like novel books for that too.
The novels, as far as I remember, are the ones like they were basically telling the story of the movies.
So they had other ones. They were, they're really, really short. And they're sort of along the same lines as the comic books, I think. I'm kind of surprised they never did like an animated or live action prequel series for Jack.
Yeah, I do agree. Sorry, go ahead.
That always surprised me they didn't do that. I think that's definitely a viable option for them. I would definitely watch that. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because the thing is, the comic book series of like the young adventures of Jack Sparrow, basically, like, first and foremost, you have an origin story of like how Jack Sparrow met Davy Jones. Number one. Number two, you have all sorts of like different like storylines and villains, like that you can literally explore in a young Jack Sparrow adventures, like TV series, and also you can also have like an explanation how Jack Sparrow was connected with the mermaids, which was also shown on Stranger Tides, basically.
The thing I might do with it though, I might take a page out of young Sheldon's playbook and have Johnny Depp like narrate it a little bit.
Okay.
That would take the budget for it way up.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that'd be worth it. I kind of think that would make it a lot funnier. I think they could get good payback on that. I think that it would be worth the investment having him narrate. But I think I think a lot of people would watch that.
Okay, fair enough. And honestly, I do agree with you. I agree with you on that one, but personally for me, like I said, like, again, you can do this like live action, you can do, in animation, whichever you prefer. Oh my God. Now I just remembered. I would, the Young Adventures of Jack Sparrow. How much are you familiar with the Clone Wars, like the TV series?
Yeah, vaguely.
Because the thing I was right now I was thinking of is that I would have loved to see like a Young Adventures of Jack Sparrow, like in Clone Wars style animation.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean that would be really cool. But literally, like, because the thing is, in the comic books of like the Young Adventures of Jack Sparrow, literally, like, not only explores the character, but also at the same time it explores the relationship between him and his father, Captain Teague. Also, between relationship, his relationship between Bootstrap Bill and him. Also, how he met Davy Jones, and also, like many different types of villains. Like there was even like one storyline I remember that was called the Sword of Cortez, I think, where basically Jack Sparrow was like, cursed or something, like, with the spirit of Cortez in that one, which personally was a really great story, by the way. Like it was a really interesting one. Also, there was some storylines which also kind of explains these connections to the mermaids, like I mentioned before. I mean, I think there are like 5 or 6 books, I think.
Yeah.
And you can literally, again, 5, 6 books, you can literally make like 4 or 5 seasons out of it. Literally. And now again, Johnny Depp actually narrating, I don't think that could actually happen. But again, I do get what you're trying to do. I do get your idea, But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is the future of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I mean, like literally, he doesn't have to die with Dead Man Tell No Tales. Literally, you can make it in a cinematic universe where you can tell other different adventures with other different characters, like different pirates, to even like have like a Goonies type of like Pirates of the Caribbean movie, just like they did with the Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I mean, like you can literally do any story you can in this like cinematic universe, in which like you can even make sometimes Jack Sparrow appear. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree. I do think though, if they do that, at least in the, maybe not in the Margot Robbie one, but if they do a 6th one and they move on to other characters, I think they need to have Jack Sparrow in, like, to pass the torch somehow. I don't know how or what form that takes, but I think they need to do, that's something they need to do somehow.
I mean,
but
I think like, sorry, go ahead.
But I think that's something they need to figure out how to do somehow. But if they can do that, I think that could work. I think there are always going to be, there'll be critics with that movie, I mean, who are really going to slam it for not having Johnny Depp, and who are going to, like, because I mean, he really is, what's the word? I mean, he really is the heart and soul of that series. But I think you're right. I think it also can work without him.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, like, because like, again, I know you're not familiar with the franchise, but like, let me give you an example. Like, that's one of the reasons why, for example, Star Wars became successful in this case, because like the overall Star Wars universe they created, I mean, literally, we have the Clone Wars, we had the Mandalorian, we had Star Wars Rebels, we had the Book of Boba Fett, we had the Ahsoka, we had so many different, even Star Wars Skeleton Crew, the Acolyte. There were so many different storylines that actually doesn't have original characters being involved whatsoever, But there are some connections to kind of like, the overall grand story in general, So literally what I'm trying to say is that, as an example, you can literally do whatever types of story in the Pirates of the Caribbean universe without even having any connections to like Will Turner or Elizabeth Swann or Henry or Karina or Barbossa or Jack Sparrow. Like literally you can do stories without them in it. Just the problem is that, the people that, oh, we want Johnny Depp back as Jack Sparrow. Johnny Depp is the reason why Pirates of the Caribbean universe is still alive. Okay, I get it. We all love Johnny Depp, even including myself. But the Pirates of the Caribbean universe world is so wide, big. You can literally tell any stories you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can even create different characters, different connections outside the main movies.
Yes.
Like for let me just try to find. Because there is. Just give me a second. Oh, just give me a second because one of the things I'm trying to show you. Okay, here it is. So basically, what I was trying to tell you about the young Jack Sparrow comic books.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, like I told you, like they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 13 or 14 books, basically. You have like stories like the Coming Storm, the Siren Song, the Pirate Chase, the Sword of Cortez, the Age of Bronze, Silver, City of Gold, the Timekeeper, which were also like Dance of the Hours, Sins of the Father, Poseidon's Peak, Bold New Horizons, and of course the Tale of Billy Turner and Other Stories, which of course Billy Turner means Bootstrap Bill. Like the point I'm trying to say is that you can tell any stories you want inside the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, But although if again, to keep the Pirates of the Caribbean fans closer, I mean, the easiest thing you can do is do like a young Jack Sparrow adventures, basically, based on the comic books.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm really surprised they haven't done that.
Honestly, me too. Because I read the comic books. I mean, I haven't read all the young Jack Sparrow comic books. I only read some of them. But like when I was reading them, I was like, why didn't they do this? Because there's literally a lot of stories you can tell throughout these comic books.
Yeah, I have no idea why I don't know why they haven't done that. Because that would, I mean, like I said, when I read the books years ago, I was surprised. I thought for sure that they would adapt those at some point. It does really surprise me they haven't yet, because I think there's a lot there they can do. I think people really like prequels too.
I mean, look, like I said, as the people, like Star Wars prequels, I think like, Disney and the others, I think like they can have a jackpot with like, Young Adventures of Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
I mean, look, for example, you can have Johnny Depp narrating the first episode, kind of like, giving us like an introduction to the young Jack Sparrow adventures, and then basically narrating at the last episode of the final season of the show as Jack Sparrow, basically.
Yeah.
The main question I have for you is this: do you see a Pirates of the Caribbean project? Could you see a Pirates of the Caribbean project, being made outside Jack Sparrow?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I could see that. I guess I'm trying to think the word. I guess the question would be, I'm curious what you think. I guess the question would be, because in the past Pirates films, you had a lot of strong dynamics. You had with Jack and Barbossa, you had with Will and Elizabeth. So I guess the thing is, continuing on without them moving on to new characters is getting the dynamics right. Is like having like strong dynamics at work. And I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, look, the main thing I can tell you right now is that you can do, which I think is actually a perfect opportunity, is that you can do multiple stories even after the events of Dead Man Tell No Tales. I mean, think about it. The Trident of Poseidon has been destroyed. You can do a main story that involves Jack Sparrow and everyone else, as we talked. But you can also do stories with other different characters that were under the effects of the Trident of Poseidon, events, basically. In which, in that way, you can do basically different stories inside the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Without like, the need of like having Jack Sparrow appearing in, here and there. And basically, I mean, you can have Jack Sparrow even like even with like a name drop. That would be like, for me personally, enough. So I think that when it comes to, as your question is, the character chemistry and everything. I think like I mean like you can do all kinds of character chemistry even with you totally like new different characters. I don't think like I mean some of them okay it might actually be okay maybe weaker than what Barbossa and Jack Sparrow were, and some of them may be quite the opposite. Again, it depends on the storyteller of the project when it comes to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. But so the overall answer to you is everything is possible.
We have a comment. Hi, Janice.
No. Hello, Janice. Welcome to the Shadow Council new episode. Thank you for joining this overall conversation. I hope if you have watched any, I hope you enjoyed our overall conversation that we had for 2 hours.
I just thought, oh, I know what I was going to say. So then here's another question then.
Go ahead.
This is going to be a tougher question. So Jack Sparrow, I mean, he's been the main character. He's been a strong character, funny character. So how would you do the new main character, whoever the new lead is? Would you make them like Jack Sparrow, kind of buffoonish, kind of like a walking around like drunk, like a Gumby person? Like he's like a mix of like a drunk Gumby and like the flailing guy at the car dealerships. Would you have like somebody like that as the lead again, or would you contrast the new lead and have them be more serious?
Okay, so first and foremost, would I make a character that is like Jack Sparrow? No. Number one. Number two, it depends on what type of story I'm telling. It all depends on like what type of characters I wish to have in this story. So I could perhaps make some characters that kind of have some similarities with Jack Sparrow, but overall, my goal would be I wouldn't try to copy basically Jack Sparrow in the first place. So again, overall it depends on what kind of a story I'm telling. So but again, primarily I will try not to copy a character that looks like exactly almost like Jack Sparrow. So again, it's like 50-50. It depends on like what kind of a story I'm telling.
I would be the same way, because the thing is copying Jack Sparrow. I mean, first of all, nobody can play like Johnny Depp. And second of all, we've kind of seen the result of that in something we talked about a couple weeks ago, which was this isn't part of the DC universe, but it was part of Zack Snyder's universe.
Yeah.
Where Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, he clearly took inspiration, I think, from Heath Ledger's Joker, and how he plays Lex Luthor. And I don't think it worked out. And I think it would be the same thing if somebody tried to play a character like Jack Sparrow, like tried to make the new lead like Jack. I don't think it would work. I think only Johnny Depp can do that. Now, I don't know if I'd make the lead. I don't know. I mean, I think that part of why the Pirates movies work so well is I think in all of them you have some kind of straight man, and then you have the buffoon, which is Jack. So yeah. I think that, I guess the question I have is, going forward, I don't know. I might be half tempted going forward to reverse it and have the lead be more of like the straight man and more of like the serious person, and have like the sidekick or the villain or his rival be more of like the buffoon. I might like switch the two roles. Like, I don't know. I might be tempted to do that only because I feel like if you make the title character a buffoon like Jack, I feel like it would be too much comparison. I don't know.
Look, I mean, okay, I get it what you're trying to say, but the thing is, and here's kind of like the reality: the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I mean, I've said it before that everyone basically became too dependable on Jack Sparrow's character and Johnny Depp's performance.
Yeah,
but again, we're talking about the age of pirates, basically, and speaking like historically, almost. I'm not gonna say all of them, but like a lot of the pirates were kind of like Jack Sparrow, in real life, in a way. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them. So even if you try to create a new character, I don't think it would hurt if, like, they have some similarities with Jack Sparrow, because, like, even if you try to create a new character that have some similarities with some, like, let's just say original character, you will still add something new in them. Like, okay, you may create a main character that's, like, buffoonish, almost like very similar to Jack Sparrow, but, like, still in that kind of character, you can try to create something that differs from Jack Sparrow. So, like, even with those kind of similarities, I think, like, it's safe to say you can create characters that are kind of like similar to him, but at the same time you can create something new to them. But also at the same time, as you've said, you can also create characters that are, like, stoic, like, straight up, characters that have, no buffoonish elements whatsoever, because, again, it depends on what kind of story you're trying to tell, But the point is that I think, like, Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, you can do other stories even without using Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, because, again, the age and the times where Pirates of the Caribbean are set, you can literally do all types of characters you want, even, like, again, I think for fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, including myself, I think, like, it will be even satisfying even with just, like, simply naming characters like Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, Hector Barbosa, Salazar, or Davy Jones. Even with just naming them, I think, like, it will be just enough, to kind of, like, give, like, a pleasure to, like, the ones who, as, like, you and me, who grew up in the movies, So
I will say Margot Robbie, having her be the lead of a movie, I'd actually be curious. I actually think she's a good actress. I actually kind of like her, so I think she'd be. I think she could potentially carry one of those movies. I think she could potentially be a good lead. I'd be curious to see how they'd write her character, if they would write her more straight man or they'd write her more like buffoon, more funny. Because I think she could really play either one. Or if they write her as a combination of the two somehow. But I think she would be that could be an interesting movie. I know that the all-female Ghostbusters was, like, a disaster from what I heard. So
yeah.
I would have a little bit of trepidation with doing that with the Pirates movies, but it can work with the Pirates movies. I think it can look a lot better with the Pirates movies than it could with Ghostbusters. Because I think that Elizabeth Swann in the movies, she really, like, showed what women can do as pirates and really, like, kind of made that cool for women.
Okay.
So I think that for me, I like the idea a lot more. I just think if they're going to do it, they got to have the right cast. Margot Robbie's a good start, but I think they need to make sure that the rest of the cast, whoever they have filling it out, is a good fit.
Okay, now hear me out on this one. Like, again, to have, like, a full female cast, honestly, for me, I don't have any problems, because, hear me out. Let's go back to the past. Okay, let's go back to the actual pirate history. History is, we had a lot of female pirates, from, like, Anne Bonny, Mary Read, Charlotte de Berry, Madame Ching. I can't remember exactly her name, but, like, there was, like, an Irish pirate. Well, she was, like, more like a revolutionary, but she was also considered kind of like a pirate. I can't remember her name exactly, but there were all sorts of, like, female pirates in the actual, human history. So so again, to have, like, a all female pirate, like, character like, cast list, for me personally, it wouldn't bother me as long as the story is interesting. As long as the story, is interesting and has some, like, good character development, the villains as well, I don't mind, honestly. So, anything is possible. And again, to go, like, kind of like, to your Margot Robbie thing, I think she can do both. Like, did you ever watch, for example, Amsterdam?
Amsterdam, no.
With Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and there was another actor, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Mephisto.
Sort of. What was his name?
You should have a drinking game. Every time I say Mephisto, you take a drink.
Well, I mean, I am drinking, but this time, I wouldn't call it like actual drinking game because, like, I've started drinking way before you were trying to say Mephisto, so it doesn't count this time. But I will definitely consider it. Every time we say Mephisto, I will take a sip, literally. But anyway, like, shit. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that basically Margot Robbie, I think she can do both.
Yeah.
Like she can do wackiness, she can do serious, even like a mixture of both. So honestly, Margot Robbie is the lead in a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, or should I say Pirates of the Caribbean movie or TV show, whatever. I wouldn't mind, honestly, because I love her as an actress and I respect her, in her performance overall. And we have a comment. Lol Mephisto. Caroline, please don't encourage him. Please don't encourage him. Margot Robbie is incredible. I like Barbie a lot too. Yeah, I mean, okay. I will say this. That's exactly my point. Like, Margot Robbie can do a lot of things. She could be wacky. She can be serious. And what you just said about the your comment, Caroline, it exactly proved my point. Even when it comes to, like, if they add her in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, because even though a lot of people have been, against it, I wouldn't mind. I honestly wouldn't mind because, again, she's an incredible actress.
I think the key with it is, like I said, the key is figuring out who else surrounds her, who else is in it with her, because I think that's really going to, I mean, I think she can lead it. I just think she needs to make the supporting cast needs to be on point though. But she's, I mean, she is good. Now, I also heard they're talking about doing a sixth one that isn't. So I guess the Margot Robbie one is the spinoff, and then they're also talking about doing a sixth one that's moving on from Jack Sparrow. So I don't know.
Here's the thing. Okay, can I add to this? Okay, so the rumor about the Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean movie, including Austin Butler, those are all spin-offs, basically. So if they continue with the Pirates of the Caribbean 6, it will definitely be Johnny Depp, centric. Now, I know there has been some rumors and stories that Johnny Depp might actually come back as Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But again, it depends on, if Johnny Depp and Disney could actually, if they could actually, find peace after all the shenanigans that happened. So again, it all depends on Johnny Depp if he wants to do it or not. Even though he did say, no matter how much money they offer him, he's not going to do it. So, but anyway, through the years, I think like he will definitely change his mind. So again, it depends on him and Disney if they're gonna basically make like a peace talk or something.
I think they should.
Yeah, I do agree.
I don't know why they don't or why they wouldn't. I mean, because he is arguably one of the most profitable actors, I think.
I mean, Disney did a lot of movies with with Johnny Depp.
So the thing I'm not sure about is I don't know about having, if they do a 6 Pirates and then the spinoff, I don't know how they're going to do those time-wise, if they would do them like consecutively close together or not. I think they also have to be careful about that, because doing a spinoff while you're also doing like one in the original series it's a little bit of a risk, I think. But I don't know. What do you think?
Look, I think like Pirates of the Caribbean is. I said it before. Like I think like Pirates of the Caribbean as an overall franchise, I think like it has lots of possibilities. I think like it could easily be like a Star Wars situation in which like you can tell all sorts of stories without even connecting to the main movies, basically. In which like you can do other different projects in which like you can use movies as basically kind of like a starting point to make all these spin-offs and everything. So again, I mean, some of my friends, they will usually say, there is no Pirates of the Caribbean movies without Johnny Depp. I disagree. Like John, you can, for me personally, I would say Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow and all the other actors. That's basically for me like a starting point for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. You can make a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise even successful without him. So if they're planning to do like a cinematic universe in some sort of way with TV shows and movies, I mean, anything is possible. And honestly, even without Jack Sparrow, I mean, I will still give it a shot to all the other, actresses and performances, the overall story wise. So, again, making a Margot Robbie movie or a one with Austin Butler, I honestly wouldn't care. If the movie is good, the story is good, if the villains are good, if the characters are good, I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as long as it I also think, I mean, characters and cast, but I also think that they have to. I don't want them to rush any of it if they're going to do it, because I think that the movie series has I think for me, a fairly good legacy that I don't want them to botch or anything. So I don't want them to rush anything. But as long as they get everything right, I would be totally on board with them.
Yeah, on this one, I do agree with you. So which basically kind of like I said, with all the conversations that we had, basically, we came to an agreement. Now, I will say this. I mean, could you see Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, basically continuing? My question is, could you see it as not simply as a movie, but also a franchise where you can do TV shows as well?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it. They could easily do a young Jack Sparrow adventures thing, easily.
Yeah. The young Jack Sparrow adventures thing. The more I think about that would be better animated, I think, than live action.
Yeah.
I guess the question would be I guess the question I would have if they do that, and I guess that would affect how they do it, is do they want to make it canon to the movies or not?
Yeah.
I mean, because if they don't care about canon, I think animated is 100% the way to go with it. Because I think that it would get more people if it were animated. I think it would be more visually appealing being animated, and I just think it would just be a lot easier. I also think if it's animated, the problem if they do live action is that whoever the actor is who they choose to play young Jack is really going to have their work cut out for them trying to get the mannerisms down and trying to embody Johnny Depp or younger Johnny Depp. So I think that animated is a better way for that kind of project.
That's actually so I'm sorry to say this, but that's actually the point, because in the actual comic books, the ones I'm talking about, all the young Jack Sparrow adventures, Jack Sparrow's character is actually way more, how can I put this? It's less wacky and buffoonish like he was in the movies, because he was I would say because again, him being a child and everything, there were some moments where you think oh yes, he's bonkers or wacky or things like that, but he was actually more reasonable and more intelligent, let's put it this way, than what he was in the movies, in a way. So again, again, you can do this TV show, again, if you're gonna do it like a prequel, again, you have to remove all the things that happen in the movies, basically. And again, those kind of again, if you're gonna do a TV show based on the comic books, again, you can do with some it would have some connections with the movies, but again, not that much as some people expect.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would make it, if they're going to do that, I would make it a lot more self-contained.
Yeah, exactly.
And I might not even make it canon to the movies. I don't know, because I think when you make it whenever people get into the whole canon thing, I think that a lot of the plot gets lost whenever people start talking about is this canon, is that canon. So
You
I
know,
think
actually,
it's
you know,
better.
actually, how you can make it canon.
Hmm.
You know, actually, how you can make it. One is how Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones met for the first time. Number one. Number two, the connection that Jack Sparrow, when he was young, had with Bootstrap Bill, basically,
Okay, yeah.
and also how uh, Jack Sparrow got the Black Pearl. Those are the only three things I think like what you can actually make canon in a way. But everything, but other everything than that, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what directions they go with the Pirates franchise.
Mm.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if they really go for a sixth film, if they go for the spinoff, if they maybe look at someday doing a prequel. I don't know. I'm really curious to see which way all this goes.
I think like the way how things are going right now, I think like they're gonna just move on straight up to the spin-offs. I don't think because even though I would love to see a Pirates of the Caribbean 6, especially the way how especially how the way how Dead Man Tell No Tales has finished, I would love to see a Pirates of the Caribbean 6, but I don't think they're gonna make it. I don't. I personally think like if they're gonna start like with something fresh, something new, I think like that's the right time to do like a spin-off thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, look again. They can still use like Jack Sparrow again being as a supporting role or as a cameo appearance or something. They can still use him, but like again, I don't think it would be the same like the first like 5 movies. I think like again because like if they're gonna do if they're gonna start, let's just say as a brand new dawn for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I think like or franchise in general, I think like the time has come basically to start with like completely new characters. Again, you can have them connected with the main 5 movies, but at the same time, you have to create something new.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, like when it comes to the overall future of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I mean, like again, it could go either way. But the one thing we can both agree, it can be in movies and TV shows, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. My question to you is outside that, when is the Christmas date you have?
Christmas date.
The one we were talking about today. About the movie Christmas date thing.
Oh,
That's what I meant when I say Christmas date. With the movie and everything.
Oh, you mean the movie tonight?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. So this might start a really, really big discussion, a really big, really, really big fan war. So I apologize in advance. So the every year, for whatever reason, ABC runs The Sound of Music at this time.
You're kidding me. You're watching this every year?
Yeah, I watch it every year. It's kind of like my Christmas tradition, and they run it every year around Christmas time, usually like the second or third Sunday in November. And I don't know why they run it at Christmas time. I don't know what makes it a Christmas movie. I guess it's more of a family movie. I don't know, but for whatever reason, they deem it a Christmas movie. So, but I figure, I mean, if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, then The Sound of Music must be one.
Can I tell you this? Like, I know we're live, but like, I don't give a shit. But you said was The Sound of Music. Actually, what is my Christmas tradition?
Hmm.
A Christmas Carol.
Now which one?
With George C. Scott, the
Ooh.
80s Christmas Carol movie.
I differ with you a little bit.
I mean, look, you have The Sound of Music, maybe like, some other Christmas Carol, but like that's the Christmas Carol movie I always watch on Christmas Day. Every time. Because like, for me, that became like a tradition for like for the last 3 or 4 years. Every time when I watch, when it comes to Christmas, I always watch a Christmas Carol. Every time. With the George C. Scott movie. And then later, I continue with the Jim Carrey version.
I might differ. So my two best Christmas movies are, so I like The Sound of Music, but my two best are I love Christmas Vacation. I love Cousin Eddie. He's hilarious. But then I like the Christmas Carol. This probably won't surprise you though, which Christmas Carol I like. I like the Muppet Christmas Carol.
I have no complaints about that because that's also what I watch on Christmas Day.
And it went over my head when I was younger, when I was little, but it doesn't really go over my head now. The fact they have Sir Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge.
I mean, can I tell you a story about
yeah.
that particular movie? So basically, Michael Caine, when they were asking questions like about the specifically this movie, like literally, how could he do a movie like that? You know, with basically all, let's just say 95% of the characters are puppets. Basically, you know, actually what he said, he treated the Muppets as like actual fellow actors. I'm not kidding you. He basically said he treated fellow Muppets as like actual characters, you know, actual actors. You know, and honestly, I respect him for that. I respect him.
That was a really big get though for that movie. I mean, getting him, somebody of his caliber, at that. I mean, like, I have no idea how on. Like, I'd love to know the story. I'd love to know the conversations that happened, the negotiations that happened to get him in that movie. I'd love to know how they did that. Because I mean, it's just amazing that like you wouldn't expect somebody like him to be in that kind of movie, like in a million years.
Yeah.
That would be the last movie I would have ever thought he'd do.
Yeah,
but he's perfect.
By the way, shipmates, isn't it really wonderful how we basically went from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies to like Christmas movies? Isn't it wonderful? Like, you know, the way how we went basically to this like crazy paradox thing. Oh my God. Yeah. But anyway, like, you know, don't worry. You're going to find out more on the upcoming Shadow Council episode.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure. But yeah, but like your is like The Sound of Music for me is the classic Dickens Christmas Carol.
Oh, they did it. I never saw that one. They did a Christmas Carol with what's his name, Albert Finney.
Here's the thing: the three I usually watch on Christmas Day are usually the George C. Scott version, Patrick Stewart, and Jim Carrey.
See, I remember Jim. That was a good. I forgot about the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe a lot of people don't. Unfortunately, they don't notice this movie too much. But like, this is literally one of my favorite Jim Carrey performances.
Have you ever seen? Made me think of the Christmas Carol. Have you ever seen that skit on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Where with Steve Martin and Martin Short, where he throws the coins out and blinds the whole town. Oh my God! Oh my God! I love that.
Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, again, the question, the main question I was trying to ask you is, when is your Christmas timing, basically? Because I was trying to, because the reason why I'm asking you is like how long we can talk.
Oh, but the movie's on at 7.
Well, right now is like 11:58 p.m. here, which means for you is like around 5:58 now.
Yeah.
So that means, oh shit, we have like almost like an hour. But again, I'm not gonna push you. We're gonna just talk about like, you know, how, as long as you can. So, shipmate, if you wanna leave, just give me the sign. And Caroline is saying good night. Basically, by the way, Caroline, to who? Me or him?
Who's your favorite host, Caroline?
I'm not gonna insult anybody right now because, like, you know, it's your choice, Caroline. It's your choice. So choose wisely. Again, it's not a threat. It's just a suggestion.
She doesn't want to pick favorites.
I don't know. I don't pick favorites. Okay. Well, fair enough. It's your
fair
choice.
enough. I respect that.
Who knows the most about Margot Robbie? Well, that depends. I mean, like, what kind of what kind of questions you're asking? Like, do you mean like who knows most about movies about Margot Robbie, or like private life? I mean, the only thing I know about her private life is that she's a geek when it comes to her Harry Potter.
Yeah, then I gotta give it to Lord of Shadows. Then he wins.
Look, Caroline could easily talk about the movies. Okay, it doesn't mean like she's talking about her private life. Who knows one Barbie character in the Barbie movie? Well, besides Barbie, Margot Robbie, and Ken,
Damn it.
then I'm lost.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
Yeah. Like cellulite. Okay, look. Okay, that's Barbie. Just another variant of her. Okay. But again, it's still Barbie. Okay. So
What about Mephisto Barbie?
oh my god. I mean, there will literally be like a triple X Barbie.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to go to the naughty side, but like, can you imagine, like, Barbie with like horns? It can, like, again, I'm not trying to go to very, this. I'm not trying to go very detailed and everything, but like, literally, the Barbie you're trying to ask for is literally like, for the naughty Barbie, basically.
Oh, that would be. What if Al? Oh,
What?
you forgot a character.
Go
I know
ahead.
a character, and I can't believe you forgot the character.
Go ahead.
It's
Say
your
it.
name,
What?
Alan.
Oh. Honestly, I didn't want to talk about it to me that much. Man. I mean, seriously, from like Pirates of the Caribbean to Christmas movies to Barbie. I mean, seriously, like, this literally.
I win.
It's literally like a one bonkers live stream. Seriously. Okay, now TK won. Yay! Congratulations, TK. It looks like you're Caroline's favorite. By the way, I'm just find out. Can you imagine like a Barbie pirate?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I mean, I can already imagine like long blonde hair, eye patch, the bandana, and like a hook for a hand.
Oh,
And then, like, like a cutlass or something like in the other one, like I mean, I'm trying to think. Barbie pirate will be unreal. I mean, again, Caroline, I do agree. And one more time, good night. Okay, good night, Caroline. Good night. And also one more time, bye, bye. But if you still want to watch this, like, Bunkers Shadow Council episode, go ahead. I don't mind. Seriously, like, you and I, what we've been gone through, like from Pirates of the Caribbean to Christmas to Barbie, like, what's the fucking next? Like, Aragorn or something? Jesus. I should have literally put, like, the topic, like, from like the future of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise to, like, Bonker Sock or something.
Oh, that made me think.
Go ahead.
I don't have any transition for this one.
But I was still gonna.
No, I don't have any transition for this one.
No problem.
I can't think of any good transition for this one. Oh well.
I'll show it.
Bunkers talk. No, I was gonna say, there's no real easy transition for this. It's something we talked about a couple weeks ago. But what do you think of Majin Ku?
Oh my god. This is absolutely fucking brilliant. Like from Pirates of the Caribbean to Christmas to Barbie and now to Dragon Ball. I mean, you are unbelievable, mate. Like you're unbelievable. Like from all of this, like you always ride through Dragon Ball every time. You're bringing it to Dragon Ball.
Yes.
You're unbelievable. Majin Ku. Okay. Okay. The actual name, no, but the overall character, I saw it coming.
I do like though that his first fight, he gets his ass kicked.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't surprised or like shocked. It's just I didn't give a shit. I'm sorry. I didn't give a shit about the character. Okay.
I do like what they're doing with him though. But I guess my only concern with Daima right now is I hope they don't stuff it too much. I hope they don't go off in too many different directions and have too many plot points. But I don't know. I dig the overall story though. I really cannot wait for the dub here because I think the dub is going to be bonkers. I mean, it's going to be completely bonkers.
As the title, Bonkers Talk.
Now, what I hope if they're going to do a lot of people have raised a very valid concern about the dub, which is the first 3 episodes have already been released here in the theaters.
Really?
Yeah. So did
you watch it?
Yeah.
And what did you find?
So I liked the first 3 episodes, although they were very low on the fighting, low on the action.
No. I'm talking about the dubbing.
Oh I watched the dub I liked the dub. I loved hearing Stephanie Nadonally back as Goku. She was great. I loved it. But a lot of people on Reddit correctly bring up the point that the dub's going to be released here starting on Crunchyroll. I think January 13th I read or something, or before that.
I showed you the news.
I think it was January 13th.
I think it was, yeah.
But if they're going to do 1 by 1, that means like pretty much the whole month of January is going to be episodes that a lot of people over here have already seen. So I partially feel like if they're going to do the dub, I partially feel like they ought to drop the first like 3 episodes at once and then like start with number 4, start with the weekly thing with number 4. I don't think they're going to do that, but I think they should. But I'm really excited for the dub. I'm really excited to hear how some of these characters are going to sound in the dub. I think it's going to be interesting. But I'm digging the overall story with Daima. Like I've told you before, the only thing about Daima that I would complain about is Dende. I think Toriyama had to change his age to make that plot point work, but that does kind of bother me a little bit. Because Dende should not be a baby. Dende should be a kid. That just bothers me a little bit. But other than that, I'm not really bothered by too much in it. I think overall, I kind of am spoiling myself a little bit in just reading the episode synopsises.
I'm sorry. I have to be honest here. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Can't you talk about anything else more than just bleeding Dragon Ball?
Yes. Dragon Ball Evolution.
I should have been more precise. Can you just talk about anything else than just bleeding Dragon Ball franchise?
Mephisto.
Okay, besides that as well. Okay. Okay.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Oh, fuck me. Anyway, okay, so okay, for punishment, you have to sing the 50 Men's on Dead Man's Chest with me.
Okay, but I don't know the words.
You're fucking serious.
Yeah, I don't.
The
I don't know.
Pirates live stream and you don't know the fucking words of the Dead Man's Chest, or like 50 Men's on Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, I don't know the words.
Oh my god. Okay. Let me make it easy for you, okay? Okay, it goes like this: 50 men's on a dead man's chest.
50 men's on a dead man's chest.
Fuck me. Yo. Okay. Here we go again. Did like 50 men's on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
50 men's on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Fair enough. Then drink and the devil be gone for the rest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Drink. What you said and da da da. Yo ho ho and a bottle.
Okay. Okay. Drink. Okay, hear me out. Okay. Drink and
Drink.
the devil had done for the rest.
Drink and the devil had done for drink and the devil had done for the rest.
Okay. Now let's start from the beginning. 15 men's on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho.
And a bottle
Bottle
of
of rum.
Mephisto.
Okay. Then drink and the devil.
The dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of Mephisto.
You and your bloody Mephisto. Drink and the devil had gone for the rest.
Drink and the devil had gun for the rest.
Yo ho ho.
And a bottle of rum.
Thank you. And then hate lies close to the love of gold.
Hate life close to the love of gold.
Dead men's secret are hardly told.
Dead men's secret are hardly told.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Okay. Do you want to wish to continue?
That depends. Do I have to put it all together?
All right then, matey. All right. I don't want to push you because, like, don't worry. I'll send you the lyrics. Okay. I mean, seriously, we're talking about pirates, like a dead man's chest and a yo-ho and a bottle of rum. Like, that's one thing you should have known already. I mean, look, I get it that you're like into anime and all of that, but seriously, this pirate song, you have to know it.
Side note, if any of you know a good singing teacher, I
don't think, like, we have 0 viewers, so I don't think anyone will answer that. I mean, seriously, like, you as a pirate, like, you truly disappoint me. I mean, it's one thing I will say, as a Saiyan, you would, like, really, like, oblige to me and everything, but as a pirate, you are a disgrace.
Oh, that made me think of something we were talking about last week. Did you see the Sonic figures that dropped online this week?
Yes, and there was some spoiler-ish things.
There was, yeah. I'm curious to see if they're actually legit part of the movie, or if they're trying to pull a fast one.
Well, there's one scene I've seen in the TV spot that kind of draws in that, like, answer. But again, it depends on, like, what we will see. I mean, look, For you, it's gonna be the 20th of December.
Yes.
But I'm gonna see the fucking movie until on the 26th.
Ooh, then I can't spoil it then.
No, I mean, unfortunately for this particular occasion, immediately like the day after Christmas, which basically, as the British would say, Boxing Day, I would literally be watching Sonic 3.
I'm not seeing Sonic through the day it comes out either. I might see it Saturday or another day because the day it comes out, I'm actually seeing another movie.
Yeah.
It rhymes with Kukasa the Lion Bang. No, I can't rhyme things. It's Mufasa the Lion King.
You're watching that shit over
Yes.
Sonic 3.
Yes.
Okay, this is literally mutiny.
This is mutiny, that is. For pirates like me.
I did read. It's funny. I read that, and I'm going to be curious to see the numbers after next weekend to see which one outperforms the other. I think Sonic is going to outperform Mufasa, but one thing
definitely.
I can say is Mufasa is actually getting a lot better early reviews than I thought it would. I did not expect it would get so many good reviews this early.
But the one thing I will tell you, Sonic 3, you should have watched the reviews they got from Sonic 3. And they're mildly, powerfully in positive.
That's getting very good. That's getting really good early reviews too.
Yeah. So basically, it's literally a competition.
Yeah,
like,
I'm really kind of. My friend said yesterday, it kind of reminds them of Barbenheimer, maybe like the Sonic King.
Sorry, just a bit of fun.
No, I'm curious because I think they're both. It sounds like from the early reviews of both movies, it sounds like they're both actually like going to be fairly strong movies.
But let's be fair, Sonic 3 is going to get the most.
I think it's probably going to get the most of the box office. Although I would be curious to see the numbers like at the end of next weekend. I'd be curious to see which one outperforms the other because I think there's going to be one clear. I think one is going to clearly outperform the other. I just don't know which one it is. I mean, I if I were betting money on it, I'd put more of my money on Sonic. I'd probably put like $90 on Sonic, but I'd put $80 on Sonic. I'd put 20 on Mufasa because I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. So, if I have the honors, basically, ladies and gentlemen, shipmates, sea dogs, clam chowding eaters, we come to an end to another Shadow Council episode. Even though the last part, as I like to call it, the bonkers talk, if anyone is interested, we talk a lot of crazy shit on this one, but overall, here we are done. So you guys know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe, give me all personal thoughts about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, all the other bonkers talk, as TK would love to share with you all.
Who's your favorite host?
Yeah, exactly. Everything in the comment section down below. Drop a like. I really appreciate it. Or in this case, TK would really appreciate that. But overall, like always, Lord of Shadows signing off.
Peace out. Comment on the live stream, folks, right there.
Exactly. See you guys next time. Stay tuned. As was in the wise words of Beetlejuice.
Later, fuckers.